Police officers are dispatched after reports of a disturbance at a local bar. According to the initial information provided to dispatchers, a woman had allegedly damaged property before leaving the area. As officers arrive, they begin gathering information from employees and witnesses. At this stage, they have only one side of the story, making it essential to carefully document what happened before taking any enforcement action. Over the next several minutes, the investigation takes an unexpected turn as officers work to identify the individual involved and determine exactly what led up to the reported incident.
If you saw her again, everybody here could identify her, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw her.
Did anybody witness the incident?
I
watched it go like this.
Okay. Is your surveillance cameras up and working? Did anybody get a picture of her or just the tag of it?
Just the tag.
She took off her shirt, like she did all this. That's why I didn't take it.
Is she someone that was staying in a room here or anything?
I've never seen her before.
So she came in, started helping herself to drinks back there.
Parked in the front first, and then I guess got kicked out of the bar. Went back there, tried to make her own drinks. Went back, came up here, and then just backed right into it.
What did she back into right here?
The wood. And when she couldn't hit the window, she got out of the car
and smashed the window.
Smashed it.
Okay.
And then she took off her shirt.
What do you guys want? Do you guys want to press charges and everything?
Yeah, he's the owner.
Are you guys want to press charges for vandalism and everything? Okay.
Yeah, she went behind the bar.
She made a couple drinks, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many or anything like that?
I think one. I don't know. I got to ask the bartender. I came out of the kitchen, started freaking on her, threw her the heck out of there, and then she's like cursing at me, and I'm like, just get off my property.
Yeah.
And then she took off, and she came back, ran into that. I guess
She back into it, or
I don't know. I don't know.
Which angle was the truck at whenever you saw her?
She took off, back in, out. You see if she went in forward or
Did she back in, or did she backed in? So she came back down from this way, backed in, hit the building, and then got out, punched the glass, and then got back in the truck and went south on his street.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then she backed out and then went forward and then backed up again. Pretty sure she hit that truck and then pulled in when we all were yelling at her.
If they got her. Did they get her yet?
We're looking for her, but we have her address, vehicle description, or vehicle registration, everything. So, we'll get it. So Edgewater's down there right now at the house. The charge for this is criminal mischief. If it falls under a certain amount of money, if it's under $1,000, it's a misdemeanor. If it's over $1,000,
the responding officers first examine the property for visible signs of damage while speaking with employees who witnessed the incident. Rather than rushing to conclusions, they begin documenting broken items, photographing evidence, and asking each witness to describe events in their own words. Every statement is compared with the physical evidence to determine whether the accounts remain consistent. This careful approach helps investigators establish an accurate timeline instead of relying solely on assumptions or emotions immediately after a stressful event. Employees explain what they say happened before police arrived. Each witness remembers certain details differently, which is common during stressful situations. Officers allow everyone an opportunity to speak without interruption, knowing that even small details may later become important. They ask about the sequence of events, whether anyone attempted to calm the situation, and whether injuries occurred during the disturbance. These conversations help investigators build a clearer understanding of the circumstances leading to the call.
So, all right, what did I miss?
She decided to resist the house. That's about it.
No, we went in with his permission. It's his house or whatever. Okay. Went in there, made contact with her. Like, hey, just hang on a minute. I was gonna go in.
Lori?
Yeah, I was gonna go inside the kitchen and grab her a paper towel for her arm because she's still bleeding. They wrapped it for us.
She want rescue or
they just wrapped it.
Okay.
So and then I told her, I was like, just stay in the living room. Cortez told her to stay in the living room. She's like, no, get out of my house. And she started walking off. And then that's when I grabbed her and she started pulling away. So we placed her on the ground on the carpet.
So you guys have resisting as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Resisting without.
Okay.
When officers locate the woman, they begin with calm conversation rather than immediate confrontation. They identify themselves, explain why they are there, and provide an opportunity for her to explain what happened from her perspective. The interaction remains conversational while officers assess the situation. Throughout the encounter, they observe body language, emotional state, and responses to their questions, all while maintaining officer safety.
Okay.
My house.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, sir.
All right.
Can you please scratch
What?
my
not been
neck?
That's fine.
I'm getting eaten by
We're not gonna do that until they show up. So
So what do we
come over here.
There's a clean left door. I just touched.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can go.
Why did you guys go in?
Huh?
Why did they go in? Did they see her go in?
I guess they asked him if she was here. He said yeah.
And he let them in.
Permission. to go.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't,
Yeah.
because it's not like Fresh Pursuit or anything like that.
That's on your chest. I can't scratch that for you. I'm sorry. I don't see any boats on your neck.
Yes, he knows.
You know her? Jordan, you know her?
He just said that she works up at. She's been an
What are you, a nurse?
That's why I asked her. I was like, "Why are you
All right.
resisting?" I was like,
You can't bring this way out.
I told her, I was like, "There's no more bugs on her neck. She wants me to scratch back."
You're good?
Said the rest of them are like up here on her chest, which I can't scratch.
Why don't you want to sit in the shade?
Because I'm itching and the bugs
There's a lot of bugs
work.
over there.
All right.
Bug everywhere, Pete said.
Sand ass from freaking.
Just we got something to do, and then once that's done, we'll start this investigation. Okay, ma'am? I am gonna say, because you're a nurse and you're in that position and stuff like that, if you could just please do your best to cooperate with us. We're not gonna hurt. You know how we are. We're not gonna hurt you. We're not gonna do anything like that. We'll take care of you. Huh?
I think I'm always doing something wrong.
You think you're always doing something wrong?
I'm like saying you're getting eaten by bugs.
So we're gonna work through this together. But Lori, I can't. I'm not gonna hit you. Okay, that's not what we do. Okay, but we'll work through this. Okay, just if you wouldn't mind, just please cooperate. I know you're upset and stuff like that.
No, you're not.
What? No, I'm not saying you aren't. I'm just saying, it'd be a lot better, especially for a person in your position. I'm not telling you, to consent to anything. I'm just saying, can you just please just be calm and relax with us? I'm not going to hit your head, okay?
No,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to hit your neck. I'm sorry.
My arms undone.
Lori, I'm getting,
Run away.
Lori,
you're acting like I'm like.
Lori, I'm getting bit by the bugs too. All right? I'm sorry.
As the conversation continues, investigators begin comparing the woman's explanation with witness accounts collected earlier. Some details appear consistent, while others require additional clarification. Instead of arguing, officers continue asking follow-up questions designed to verify facts rather than assumptions. This process demonstrates why investigations often take longer than many people expect. Every important decision should be based on evidence instead of emotion.
Well, the thing, if she says no to everything,
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. We're not going to take it back to TV.
Stay standing.
Would you mind just hanging on to her since she's unsteady on her feet?
I'm like, it is so.
101 Executive Circle, they
Huh?
Beach, responding to the
I can't hear you.
Are they 5 minutes off?
They're coming from Sea Vista, so I would imagine he's coming from this way. Yep, we got her out. There you go. Yep.
Just don't want too many people.
Yeah,
over there.
yeah, I get it.
Can't really take her out of handcuffs because I know she's going to resist.
Yeah.
Officers return their attention to the available evidence. Property damage, witness statements, and observations made during the investigation are all considered together. No single piece of evidence determines the outcome by itself. Instead, investigators evaluate the totality of the circumstances before deciding what enforcement action, if any, is appropriate. Before making any final decision, officers explain why they are continuing the investigation. They outline the allegations that have been reported, while also giving the woman another opportunity to respond. Providing someone an opportunity to speak is an important part of many investigations. Even when officers believe they understand what happened, they continue gathering information to ensure their decisions are supported by the available evidence.
Yeah, that's fine. Copy, thank you. All right. Cortez, bring her over here. Lori, can you come over here with this help? All right. All right, Lori. Can you look at me, please, so I understand that you're, can hear me speaking and everything like that? All right. Right now, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you or may be used as evidence against you in a criminal prosecution. You have the right to talk to an attorney and have him with you now or at any time during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. So, Lori, all right, first and foremost, where are you coming from before you came here?
Work.
Where's work?
The hospital.
What time did you get off work?
In the morning.
What time this morning? 9? Would you work night shift last night? Pretty rough night. I'm sorry to hear about that. So what time did you get off work today? So like 9 o'clock this morning, right? Okay. Where did you go from there?
Honestly, I came here.
What'd you do there? You don't want to talk about it? Okay. So you came here. This is Chris's house, right? At any point did you leave this house today?
I left it 100 times.
Where'd you go?
I went to my house.
What about the Sea Vista Motel over here at 1701 South Atlantic Avenue? Did you go there today?
I don't remember. I can't confirm that.
Why don't you remember? I remember what I did this morning.
I don't even know what morning it is, sir.
Do you know what time of day it is right now, by chance, if you had a good guess?
It's like in the afternoon.
It is the afternoon, yeah.
Like,
So you don't remember going to Sea Vista at all?
I remember going there and having fun and people making fun of me.
People were making fun of you at Sea Vista? Where at? The bar? Or at any of the hotel rooms or whatever? Or where were they making fun of you?
It was me.
Okay. So, how long ago was that?
In the last like 48 hours.
The last 48 hours, so the last 2 days? Well, I know it was sometime between when you got off this morning at 9 and now. So, you came back here, and then we came, and this is where we're at, right? Okay.
After reviewing witness statements, physical evidence, and the information gathered during their investigation, officers determined that they have sufficient legal grounds to proceed with an arrest based on the applicable laws in their jurisdiction. They clearly communicate their decision, explain what is happening, and begin the arrest procedure using standard protocols. Throughout the encounter, officers continue giving verbal instructions intended to keep everyone safe.
So we have multiple people that witnessed you in actual physical control of your vehicle, not only back into a building there, causing property damage, but then you exiting your vehicle from the driver's seat, going around, punching a hole in a glass window, which smashed it, then getting back in your vehicle where you exited southbound on Hill Street at a high rate of speed, putting a lot of people in danger. And you're a nurse, you know, like you've seen car accident victims, right? You know.
So I'm not saying that I might not have been like not in my right state of mind.
I understand
I'm saying
that.
I
I understand. I know you're not in the right
like,
state of mind.
Look at my body. If I was to do all that, this is all that I would have.
Yep. Okay. How much
Jumping
have you...
behind somebody's bar, taking over their cash register.
I never said you took.
Like,
I never said you took over
their.
Well, I never said you took over the cash register.
Basically, that's what we were saying. I stole from them.
Well, you did, because there's for when you do a transaction, it's hey, I'm giving you money for goods. Now, hey, the person that you gave money to is now giving you said goods. When that transaction is done inappropriately, like where you just slam money down and then go behind there, that transaction wasn't approved. So I'm not really too worried about the theft of a $10 drink.
I'm not
you know what I'm worried about?
I'm saying that's like a different.
Yes. Okay.
Like I'm not saying that. Okay.
Lori.
I'll be quiet.
Here's what I have to ask now.
I have nothing.
Due to having multiple people, independent witnesses that saw you in actual physical control of your truck, based off of your slurred speech, your bloodshot eyes, okay, you're having a hard time standing on your feet. Right now, I'm going to ask if you perform some standardized field sobriety exercise. You don't want to perform any standardized field sobriety exercise.
If you itch my arms, I will.
I cannot itch your arms for you. So you don't want to do that based off of just not getting your arms itched. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm literally getting eating up by.
I am too. Look at them. They're in my hand.
It's terrible.
Unfortunately, I can't.
I'll do it.
Well, listen. You have the right to refuse to do it.
No, I just don't want to. Like, I literally got.
Would you want to perform any sort of standardized field sobriety exercise for me today? Because right now I do believe that
I
you were
wasn't
driving
behind the
under
wheel,
influence.
so.
You were. There was multiple witnesses.
Okay,
That saw
witnesses
you.
when?
When you were at
Prove it.
Seavest after you crashed, but they already have. They've already filled sworn written statements out.
Okay, fine.
Regardless.
Let's
So-
go to the door.
Okay. We don't have to. It's all on body cam and everything like that. Whenever this is all done, you can go look at the body cams and everything like that and the investigation that has led us to here. All right? So, Lori.
So I haven't do anything else.
So right now I'm asking if you would participate. Again, this is participating in standardized field sobriety exercises. Keyword participation, you don't have to do them. Do you want to do them though?
No.
Okay, you do not want to do them. All right, perfect.
Yeah,
We're going to go in the back of your car, Gold. Yep. We're going to go back at his car real quick. No, I'm not. We're not going the back and forth. You said no. That's fine. Come on, Lori. We're not going back and forth with it. You said no.
Once the situation is under control, officers complete the remaining procedural steps. Evidence is documented, witness information is preserved, and reports will later be completed to accurately describe everything observed during the investigation. As with any criminal case, the arrest itself is only one stage of the legal process. Any formal charges, court proceedings, and final determinations are handled through the judicial system. Cases like this illustrate how quickly everyday disagreements can escalate into police investigations. Regardless of the circumstances that may have contributed to someone's frustration, responding through property damage or aggressive behavior can create legal consequences that extend well beyond the original dispute. The bodycam footage also highlights the importance of careful police work. Rather than relying on assumptions, officers gather witness statements, examine evidence, compare different accounts, and document their observations before making enforcement decisions. These investigative steps help promote fairness while ensuring that important decisions are based on facts collected during the investigation. What are your thoughts on how officers handled this investigation? Do you think the situation could have been resolved differently before police became involved? Share your respectful opinions in the comments below. If you enjoy educational breakdowns of real police encounters and the legal processes surrounding them, consider subscribing for more bodycam analysis and case reviews.